Don't compromise, just use your eyes. Take a look inside the millennial mind. Millennial mind.
Welcome to the Millennial Mind. You may call us millennials lazy, entitled, but it's time you start to understand the millennial generation and break free of those negative stereotypes. Get the knowledge you need to attract, retain, and engage this millennial generation to take them from entitled to engaged. And who better to tell you this than two actual millennials. I'm Garrett Wagner, your entrepreneurial CP channel host, and I'm here with my fellow millennial, future comedy star. That's right, comedy star. Check out his tweets. Man's hilarious. Drew Carrick, the rapping CPA. Now, Drew, we've got a special episode for you today. We call it Ask a Millennial. Well, we're going to ask some questions that people ask millennials and go through the situations. What do they say and how do they do it right? So you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, you're going to be a millennial. And I'm going to be a non-millennial person. Now, Drew, I printed out this Excel file, and it doesn't work. How can I copy this Excel file over again? Can you scan it in and retype it in again with all the formulas?
Well, you know, Excel is a magical thing because it allows you to aggregate data online in a way that is editable. And so you can change numbers, which is really cool. And then this is a really cool part of it, is there's actually functions, which means you can have a formula that actually drives outputs based on the inputs you put in. But I mean, that could get too crazy because, you know, you could have multiple tabs. I don't know if you know what the tabs are. That might be advanced levels, that there's multiple tabs actually. It's kind of like pages.
So like tabs, so you're saying I could have multiple pieces of paper that I could staple together? And then you scan them in and that's Excel?
It's kind of like multiple pieces of paper.
Okay.
In a digital world where each tab is its own piece of paper. And then there's like a cover page where those pages kind of summarize, kind of like at the, you know, the overall conclusion of a book. And then that's how you can get some information. I'd be happy to just scan it all back in, do a little reformatting, and give you the output.
Okay, I guess so. I don't really understand it. So that was like our, you know, questions that we get asked as millennials every day. You know, people love to ask, what is Excel? How does it work? All those type of things. And that's a frustration for millennials. That's why you say millennials are lazy, because the questions are like, how does Excel work? And can you scan this in and copy it there? So that's one of the ways. How do we get millennials engaged in the workplace? You got to understand their viewpoints that are different. So Drew, let's pivot now. You be the other generation. I'll be the millennial. How should they ask that question to get us engaged and get us helping?
All right. So let me get my old, you know, my other generation face on.
And, you look much older.
Right. Thank you. I've been growing out the beard here.
I like the mustache.
So I have this bunch of information that I'm trying to figure out how to present it, and there's a lot of information and it's going to be changing. You know, do you have any idea what program or how we can sort of best maintain and track this information as it's constantly changing? You know, because a lot of people are going to want to tamper with it and are going to want to add details and whatnot, and I think it'll be really tedious to have to print it out all the time and make updates and then, you know, make the changes again. So what do you think would be the most efficient way to kind of get that done?
You know, excellent question, Drew. Let me ask you this. Right now, are you using Excel at all?
I've heard of Excel. It's part of that guy who made Microsoft, I think. He makes that.
That guy, yes. It's part of Microsoft. Bill Gates would be the gentleman you're looking for. Yeah, Excel is really the backbone of everything we do with numbers. It's amazing. It's got formulas. It can aggregate data. You can do all kinds of impressive formulas, VLOOKUPs, sum functions, pivot tables, graphs, charts, everything. And I can help you kind of show through what to do that. Let me ask you this. What are you trying to accomplish in Excel?
I'm trying to get a bunch of information sorted so that I can analyze it and present it. But I only want certain information. You know, that's the biggest numbers, because I don't really care about the little stuff, but it's all mixed in together, you know?
So Drew, let's go back to your desk, and I'm going to show you how to use a table, and you can get started. Another great tip for you, something you can really look at, Google, if you just type in Excel questions, it can answer almost any question you have on Excel for free in an instant. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
The Google is just amazing.
The Google is just amazing. I like that. So that's kind of, that's our little pivot there of, you know, we get a lot of really kind of silly questions. And honestly, a lot of them, Google is amazing. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. You know, it's just like, you know, Drew, you started in, you know, a big CPA firm. What did the partners tell you with the big CPA firm if you had a question? What they want you to do before you go bother the partner?
Well, before you go to the partner, you kind of got to exhaust the resources that are available. So it's, you know, ask a colleague or your immediate senior or peer, or some of the training that's on the online website that is available and free, or even the training you do when you first get onboarded.
Exactly. So same thing, just like, you know, everyone tells us millennials, hey, you got to go through that process. If you have an IT question, go through that same process. Start online, look in Google, look for some help. I bet you can get yourself started. I bet you're going to learn something along the way, because, you know, for us millennials, we don't always totally mind helping others. That's not the problem. But it becomes like, if you view us, if we feel like we're just viewed as your IT tech support instead of why we're actually at the company for our actual job, we don't feel important. We don't feel valued where we work. We don't feel motivated in our career. You know, what drives motivation? Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And if I'm supposed to be a senior at a Big Four or a public accounting firm, and I'm just helping Excel Q&A for 8 hours a day, I'm not excited for that. So something to keep in mind. Drew, any final tips for them on how best to interact with millennials and ask those Excel questions?
Yeah, just that it's not, you know, meant to be as a ridicule or saying you're not smart enough to figure this out and whatnot, but it's that we have skill sets that I think do add value and can make lives more efficient. And we just kind of want to be appreciated for being able to do those things. And the same thing that's asked upon us to go through the proper channels, to have that the same way. Just because somebody has more experience doesn't mean that they're suddenly exempt from the proper ways to communicate or figure out problem-solving answers.
Excellent. I love it. So hopefully everybody watching today learned something. They had some fun along the way. You know, this is lighthearted. We're trying to have some fun here. If you want to help us better understand millennials, we'd love for your insight. We would love for your insight. Share your own opinions and thoughts on the millennial mind. Take part in our millennial survey. No matter what age, we want your input. There's a link below, no matter where you're watching this online. I encourage you to take that test, share your insights with us. That's it for our show. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget, click to subscribe, stay up to date with the latest episodes. And as always, we challenge you today to take action to change the world and invest in yourself.